Hello peeps, it's another edition of Politics is Life. My name is Yetunde Makinde. Today on the program, I want to discuss an observable phenomenon within the Nigerian society. 2 days ago, I was on Twitter. 2 days ago, or was it 3 days ago? Today's the third day, so 2 days ago I was on Twitter and I came by this random tweet by this person who I don't even think is a Nigerian. It had to do with the Ekweremadu saga. So the individual wrote something, I don't even remember what, but he linked an article from Daily Sun or Daily Mirror, one of those UK tablets. He linked it to his tweet, and I decided to read through some of the comments on that tweet, and what I found, those comments were outright ignorant and embarrassing. The particular one that caught my interest that I then responded to said about 3 sentences, said a few things, and the very sentence that caught my interest went like, the whole Ekweremadu saga is just a case of a business deal. Okay, no, it said that that the young man in question is just being, I don't know, maybe being silly, because the whole saga is just a case that there was an agreement, between the Ekweremadus and the young man, and that that the whole saga is just a case of a business deal gone wrong. And I thought, no, we're talking an alleged situation of human organ trafficking. That's a crime. It's actually an international crime. So I responded to that comment, and I decided to go a step further by backing up my assertion that it was a crime with evidence. So I clipped this. I went on the internet and clipped this part of UNODC. I went on a UNODC article or document. That's United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. I snipped it and attached it to my tweet. Just put it out there. You never know who may find it useful. Where the clip showed clearly that human organ trafficking is prohibited, because this particular person was trying to make it seem like, what's the big deal? It's a big deal. It's actually a crime. So I put that there so that you never know who would need it, because clearly a lot of people are ignorant about this whole issue. I say this because I've had private conversations with people who also felt that all the Ekweremadus were doing was showing parental love, parental love and care to their child. They all had that duty of care, which I do not dispute. Everybody would try to find a way to save their loved ones if they're found in such a situation, if they are found in a situation where they face terminal disease, that's a given. That's what we would all do with people we love and care about. But to those who argue this, because this particular person I had this private conversation with said that, put yourself in the shoes of the Ekweremadu, and I'm like, yes, you would seek help from all avenue, but that help should not include going to buy another person's child's organ. That's where I draw the line, which I don't know why that would be hard for people to understand, that you just can't go and buy somebody else's organ simply because they offer it for sale. That's unethical. And to find that people who claim to be educated and who claim to be godly think this is cool because you have money, it should be okay for you to go and buy somebody else's organ. How is that logical? How is that fair? If you have money and you are empathetic and you're a compassionate person, you should know without being told that you can't go buy somebody else's organ. That's a crime. But this person who I was having that conversation with in private didn't seem to get it, because they argued for that, but I left it. So this person on the internet is saying it's just a business deal And there are people who think it's expected of people or parents to do anything, including purchasing somebody else's body organ to save their own child. So I clicked that part of that document from UNODC and attached it to my tweet. I'll put a link to my tweet in the description box, just in case anybody wants to see it. Unfortunately, the comment that I was responding to has been removed by the individual, because clearly it responded again to what I wrote when I said it was a crime. Now I don't know what he wrote, because I don't know if it's a he or she. The person has removed that comment as well, because somebody else then came and said, no, it can't be normal. That's not acceptable. That other person's tweet is still there. I'm paraphrasing what that person said, because the person said something in the line of, oh, simply because terrorism is all over the place means it should be normalized. So because people engage in this, because it's pervasive, this phenomenon of people buying other people's organs, for inducement, for monetary reward, to take somebody else's organ. It's unethical. Simply because people do it doesn't mean it's normal. It's mean-spirited, it's selfish on all levels, and it should not be condoned. So that person said that much. So this person has removed those two tweets, the one I responded to, and whatever else it was, it wrote after I made my comment, has also been removed. At any rate, what I'm trying to paint here is that Nigerians are so ignorant. The average Nigerian is so ignorant and is not even aware of it. Now, I don't know why that person blocked it. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he's embarrassed, which is good. So that means you've learned, hopefully he has learned also to know that this is just wrong and it's a crime. When you commit a crime, ignorance is no excuse. All right? Because it's this same ignorance now that's gotten the Ekweremadus into trouble, got them into hot soup that they're not likely to get out from. I don't say how they will. The other thing I want to say is nobody really knows what happened, because we don't have the facts of the case. Everybody is just speculating. Oh, the young man ran away. The young man went and cast them. I don't think so. I've got my own theories as to what may have happened, and I would want to share that before I round this up very quickly, or maybe say one or two other things and round this up. I've got two scenarios playing in my head. I honestly do not think the young man went and reported the incident. I mean, looking at the picture of that young person from the passport that circulated on the internet or on social media, it doesn't look like someone who clearly he's never been out of the country. So I don't see how he will be able to how he would know to do what the rumor says he did, which was to report the Ekweremadus. I don't think that's what happened. This is what I think happened. This is my own theory. It's either because another document that circulated that we all saw is that letter requesting for visa for the young man in question, which purportedly was written by Mr. Ekweremadu. And that's even another thing, the ignorance, the impunity, and the bigotry, that people just tend to exhibit. Why would you want to write such a letter and you feel the need to write it on the letterhead of the Nigerian Senate, the National Assembly of NICE? I think that's, I don't know, though I'm not privy to the administrative protocol of the National Assembly, but I want to believe very strongly that was a violation. But that's the impunity and the ignorance that we talk about, that the members of Senate themselves don't even know the do's and don'ts of that office and what is acceptable or not, because people just act with impunity. But the unfortunate thing is the impunity that you practice at home is not acceptable everywhere in the world. So when you go to other climes, when you go to other places where the rule of law is upheld. I mean, you get into this kind of mess. At any rate, we all saw that letter, and what I believe could have happened was that when that letter was received at the British consulate in Abuja or wherever, that must have set off a red flag, because all of these kind of, embassies and such governmental agencies are fully aware that human organ trafficking is criminal. It's a criminal offense. So I feel that at that point when that letter came, they must have flagged it in the system, grant the visa to the young man, and then just follow up and see how the whole issue, follow it up to actually have an understanding of what was going on. So they have no reason to deny it, so they grant it and then flag the name, flag the Ekweremadus in the system, such that once they got to the UK and got to the hospital, the appropriate agencies would step in and then an arrest was made. The second scenario that I think, I'm just speculating, the second scenario that could have led to this whole situation would be that maybe the embassy didn't even pay it any attention, which I seriously doubt. But let's say it went past the consulate. The consulate didn't do anything. So they arrived in the UK with the donor and the potential donor. And of course, they needed to go to a hospital. Of course, they would have fixed an appointment ahead. So they get to the hospital, and there is no way the hospital will not interrogate the donor, because if you read through the provision of the international regulation on donating body organs, on human organs rather, you'll find that there are conditions to donating your organs for a living person. In certain countries, for dead people, organ donation is automatic. If a person dies and their organs are still intact and somebody needs it, it's automatic opt-in. They'll do what they need to do. But in the case of living persons, there are conditions to be met. There must be genetic connection, or there is legal connection, or there is emotional connection. If none of those three are met, then it can't happen. You certainly cannot give a body organ in hope of inducement or monetary reward. Once money is involved, it's a crime. It's a point where you know that a crime is being committed, that this person is being induced, there's an inducement or some other kind of reward that's causing the donor to give the organs, to give their organ or organs. So if the hospital, of course, the hospital will do what it needs to do. It needs to interrogate and ascertain that the donor is doing it voluntarily, and whether there is genetic connection, legal or emotional connection. And once they find none of those were present, that's a red flag. They would suddenly alert the appropriate authorities, who will then step in. But they don't alarm the Ekweremadus. They allow them carry on doing all they need to do. But because, like I said, they would have been flagged in the system even in this scenario. The minute the hospital understood what was going on, they flagged them, they alert the appropriate authorities, and the authority will flag them in the system. And I think when they were going to leave the UK for Turkey, like we heard, they got arrested, because by that time a case had been built, a case had been established of what was going on. I don't see how that young man would raised an alarm or cast them. He has no reason to cast them, okay? Because the agreement was you give the organ and we pay you. That hasn't happened, okay? So people were even speculating that Ekweremadu refused to pay the boy. When they get home, they would arrive Nigeria before that happens now. So, and another point is the boy may very well have been a match, but the hospital would need to put up such a case so that they can claim that the boy is not a match, so that they can put an end to the criminal act, so that they can put an end to the criminal action, so that they put a stop to it, so that it doesn't happen, to prevent the crime from happening. This is what I think happened. It's just, of course, mere conjecture until the fact of the case are made public. Nobody really knows. So to wrap this up, we need the only way to rid our society of willful ignorance, bigotry, and impunity is for us to cultivate a reading culture. A lot of Nigerians don't read. A lot of Nigerians spend too much time on fluff and frivolities. Activities that do not edify, that do not add value, that don't, that don't stretch your mind. And the mind is the final frontier. You need to develop your mind. Enough of us don't do that. Enough Nigerians do not develop the mind. You can tell this from reading the things Nigerians engage in and the kind of things that they write on social media. It's usually, essentially what the kind of things that excite the average Nigerian are base things, things that are graphic, and this is not good. And this attitude also reflects in our politics. We don't pay it enough attention, and when we pay it attention, it's we tend to do us versus them, us against them. That's not good politics. That's the kind of politics that plays in the animal kingdom. We're humans, right? And the fact that a lot of Nigerians are religious, you begin to wonder, what do they teach them in these religious houses? That tells me that not much is taught them except prosperity, the Lord. And that really can't get you anywhere. The mind needs to expand. It's only when your mind expands that you can grow and become a better person. So that's essentially what I'm discussing today. Until I come your way next time, it's Yetunde saying Iriel.